Hello students, good afternoon. I am Dipali Devi, your geography teacher. Today I am going to discuss about the diastrophic movements from your third chapter, our changing Earth internal process. The diastrophic movements are slow movements which bring about changes gradually over a long period of time. I repeat the sentence. Diastrophic means what? Diastrophic movements means the compression and the tension, and this is the slow movement, and as a result of the slow movements, some changes have seen gradually over a long period of time. The upliftment, subsidence, and submergence of Earth's crust are a result of these two movements. These movements act on Earth's crust either vertically or horizontally, and hence are further divided into vertical movements and horizontal movements. These diastrophic movements, these are slow movements, and it changes gradually over a long period of time, and these movements, it may be the horizontal movement or the vertical movement. And as a result of these movements, some portions of the Earth's crust uplifted and some are got submerged. Then what is vertical movements? Vertical movements are also known as eperogenic movements. Eperos means Greek language means continent. Hence they are also called continent building movements. The vertical movements build the continents, and another name of this vertical movement is the eperogenic movement, and it is the Greek word, Greek language, meaning continent. These movements are mainly associated with the formation of mountains and plateaus. As a result of the vertical movements, we can see the formation of mountains and plateaus. These slow movements take place over a long period of time, and it is known as the diastrophic movement. It is a slow movement. It is not created in one day. It takes time over a long period of time. Consequently, large-scale upliftment and subsidence of a part of Earth's surface take place. The upliftment of land results in the formation of mountains or plateaus, and the subsidence of land results in the formation of valleys as a part of Earth's crust sinks in comparison to the surrounding regions. Sometimes some portions are uplifted and created the hills, mountains and plateaus, and some portions are subsidence of the lands. That means some portions are going down, submerged, and as a result of the valleys are created. These movements may also lead to the submergence of landforms under water bodies. There are some evidence of submerged buildings and cities due to subsidence into the sea. So, due to these vertical movements, already we know that the creation of the upliftment and the submergence created as a result of some mountains and plateaus are created, and the result of the submergence, the valleys created. And these movements may also lead the submergence of landforms under water bodies. So some portions are going under the water bodies. There are some evidence of submerged buildings and cities, sometimes as a result of the endogenic forces, internal forces. Some buildings and cities are got submerged into the sea. One such example is the submerged ancient city of Dwaraka in Gujarat. from India. Then after that, horizontal movements. Horizontal movements take place on Earth's crust due to compressional and tensional forces. Compressional and tensional forces, you see, sometimes some portions are compressed and some are tensional. Tension. That means narrower and broader like that. These forces can cause folding and faulting on Earth's surface, leading to formation of mountains and valleys. Then as a result of the compression and the tension, then we get the fold or the faults. What is folding? The compressional forces acting on Earth's crust from two opposite directions cause crumbling or folding of Earth's crust. As a result, the crust bends and forms a series of upfolds and downfolds. You see the upfolds and downfolds created, that these are the upfolds, these are the upfolds, and these are the downfolds. As a result of the compression and the tension, these downfolds and upfolds are created. As a result, the crust bends and form a series of upfolds and downfolds. These are the continuous process. These are continuously making the upfolds and the downfolds as a result of the compression. And you see, folding is more common in sedimentary rocks. The foldings are, these are the upfolds and downfolds are known as the foldings. And these are mainly happen in the sedimentary rocks. Already you get the igneous rocks, the sedimentary rocks and the metamorphic rocks. The second number rocks are the sedimentary rocks, and these foldings commonly created in this type of rocks, that is sedimentary rocks. Horizontal compression or folding gives rise to mountains and valleys. Horizontal compression or folding, the vertical means like that, the horizontal means like that, and with the folding and folding created in a horizontally, these are. So horizontal compression of folding gives rise to mountains, so which are coming up and created the mountains, and valleys. Some parts are coming down in between two hillsides like that. Two hillsides, these are the look like the valleys. The poles are called anticlines. These are the poles and these are known as anticlines. And these are the downfalls. These are known as the synclines. Generally, mountains are formed from anticlines. So, from these anticlines, these are the anticlines and created the mountains, the full mountains. And valleys are formed from synclines. Then you see the valleys which are coming downside, these are the valleys. Compressional forces have some, sorry, compressional forces have formed some of the highest mountains of the world. For example, the Himalayas, the Rockies, the Andes, the Alps, the Urals, the Aravallis, and the Appalachians are some examples of mountains formed by compressional forces. Let's discuss about the faulting. The tensional forces work horizontally but in the opposite directions on the surface of Earth resulting in fractures or cracks along lines of weaknesses. These cracks are known as faults. The displacement of some blocks of rocks in the upward direction and of other in the downward direction along such a crack is called faulting. Faulting results in the formation of relief features like block mountains and rift valleys. You see, this is the picture. This is the picture of the block mountains, the rift valleys, the fault like that. These are the block mountains. These are created like a block. As a whole, this is the landform. From that landform, due to the result of the endogenic forces, some portions of the landforms are coming down, and these are coming down vertically, and some portions are still standing. These are, and these are created. Already you know that in sedimentary rocks that these are coming down as blocks. So the which part is coming down, the extremely down part, these are known as the fault. These are known as fault. And some portions are standing, these are known as the horst, and these portions is known as the graben. The uplifted landmass with steep slopes on both sides is termed as block mountains or horst. The uplifted part. Thus I told you this uplifted part is known as the block mountain or the horst it is known as. And the downward portion, it is parallel to the, so reef valleys are troughs with steep parallel walls. They are also termed as graben. These are. They are formed when the part of Earth's crust subsides between two faults. A rift valley may also be formed by upliftment of two blocks. So this is the these are the two uplifted portions. These are the two uplifted portions, and this part is known as the rift valley. A well-known rift valley is the Great Rift Valley of Africa. The valley of the river Rhine between the Vosges Mountains and the Black Forest Mountains is another example of a rift valley. In India, Narmada Valley between the Vindhya and the Satpura ranges is an example of a rift valley. You see the knowledge to check. What is the geographical term used for vertical movements? What is the geographical term used for vertical movement? It is known as the anticlines. And what do forces of compression produce? Tensional forces. What do forces of compression produce? The compression, as a result of the compression, the fold mountains are created. Give an example of a rift valley. The rift valley is you see, a well-known rift valley is the Great Rift Valley of Africa. The valley of the Rhine River between the Vosges Mountains and the Black Forest Mountains is another example of rift valley. That means the Vosges Mountain and the Black Forest Mountain is another example of the rift valley. These are the two examples of rift valley. Sudden movements. Sudden movements of the two endogenic forces. Sudden movements bring about abrupt changes on the surface of Earth and hence their name. These movements cause volcanoes and earthquakes. As a result of the endogenic forces, the volcanoes and earthquake created. These are the internal forces. As a result of the internal forces, volcanoes and earthquakes are created. So let's stop today. We will discuss about sudden movements regarding volcanoes and earthquakes in our next class. Thank you.